Podcast time.
And we're here on another Sunday, another Gentleman the Jerk. Mark, how we doing, buddy?
Wonderful. How are you, Chris?
I am good. So far, we are off to a start with absolutely zero technical difficulties, and that might be the first time that it's ever happened.
Last week, the week before. Come on, man.
I don't know.
This shit going on.
This feels pretty smooth so far. I think it's because we were both imbibing alcohol tonight. We're back on the sauce.
Nobody is watching. That's why.
That's not true. You know people are watching.
That's not good.
They are watching.
We went from 7 to 4. Okay, bye.
I don't know what that means, but listen,
so
we know something's going on. We got a chat going on right there. People have been chatting all the way quite a while already.
Oh, shit.
Uh-oh. We got volume somewhere, buddy. Is that you?
No.
There's technical problems. Always technical problems.
We're down to 3. Oh, boy. That's me.
Well, you scared them off. Good job, man. Good job.
That's me and you.
That's fine. We'll just talk amongst ourselves. Tell me what's going on this week, Mark.
I love your office. It's amazing.
I put a lot of work into it and a lot of money into all this Disney memorabilia I have around me.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yep. How much?
I don't know, $15,000.
That's not that much.
$2 million.
This thing, right? If you want to buy this for Christmas, though, this Razor Crest, like $400 right now.
I'm not sure why the ship doesn't even exist anymore.
I will sell that to anyone on this podcast right now for $300.
$5. $5.
Okay. Deal. Anybody want to buy it?
$5? $5 it is.
I will not deliver it. I will not bring it to you. Yep. $5.
Who's Tom Matson?
Oh, Tom is the best. Tom is the best. Oh my gosh. So Tom and I back in, when was it? 2016 or 20? I think it was 2016. So Tom is the best car person in the world. He is amazing. He sells Lambos now. I don't know, Aston Martins maybe. He's the best.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Wow.
He and I went out to Columbus, Ohio. Was it 16 or was it 17, Tom? I don't remember. So we went out there. We were able to drive the Acura NSX, the new car, out on the track.
That's a fun car.
He was better than I was, and that's okay. We had a great time. That was my first foray into a Dave & Buster's. We went in there. We won a bunch of tickets on the SpongeBob SquarePants machine, even though I don't know who SpongeBob even is. I'm too old for that. God, we spent I think I spent I am too old for that. Trust me.
I don't think that's accurate.
I think we spent.
I don't think that's accurate at all. No,
we spent like $100. We spent $100 on that machine, or I did. I don't know how much he spent, but I spent $100. We were drinking Pittsburgh beer. I don't even know how to say it. Is it Youngling?
Yingling?
Yeah, that.
Really?
We drank a bunch of that. Yeah, why not? Because I never had it before. Who cares? So, yeah, we had a great time. It was awesome. We learned about the car. It was cool. We had a good time. I'm super excited that they're here. Thank you, Paul. Now, Paul is my master technician for many years ago. He is here too. I miss you, Paul. Sorry, I'm drunk. I'm gonna say it.
Oh, we're going off the rails here.
Okay, is Rashawn here too? I hope Rashawn's here too because he had a good story this week. So, okay, so we're up to 10 watching. We only have 7 likes. Come on, guys, step it up. Get us some more likes. Come on. I'm gonna pander a lot this show because me a little bit inebriated is better than you being drunk. It's fine. So hey,
yeah,
Paul is we're down to 9. I shouldn't talk about Paul. Let's go back to Tom. So anyway, so I hope Rashawn's here this week. I don't know if he's here. Said he was going to be. I think he forgot. So we got to meet our second Seahawk of the month at work.
Oh, you're just drawing him in like crazy now.
We are. We've got another one. looking at another car. It's the same as the anonymous Seahawks car. So I'm pretty sure that our friend Rashawn broke COVID regulations this week, which is not good.
I'm not sure you should be saying this stuff out loud.
Well, I'm gonna say it. No, I think our friend Julie broke regulations this week. Does that work better?
Sure.
Okay. Julie was a bad person.
Maybe it was Rochelle.
Julie.
Did Rochelle do it? Julie's better.
No,
okay.
no. Anyway, so we'll go past that. Carry on. So, hey, welcome everybody. I'm glad you're all here today. My face is very expressionless, or many expressions. I don't know which. So
he's got his angry forehead tonight.
Yep. There you go. So
Mark, what did you do this other than another Seahawk? What happened in Mark's life this week? Let's go over that real quick, and then we're gonna get into the main subject here.
You go right ahead. I spied on a Seahawk. I worked a little bit. I made some cheese today.
Made or cut?
Pretty much it. Made. I don't fuck around, man. I make my own cheese. Come on.
So I have had an interesting week.
Oh boy.
I told you one of the stories before we went on the show. We won't share that one here about what kind of jackass my son is.
Which sad country song were you this week?
Oh my God. I got to tell you, man, first of all, we are going to be talking about The Mandalorian. So before we get into that, which we're not going to for probably another 5 minutes here, but before we get into that, if you have not seen the season finale of season 2 of The Mandalorian,
you're going to
do not watch tonight's show, because that is all we're talking about. Spoiler alert, we're covering everything. That's coming up shortly. But the other thing that happened this week was the release. Actually, no, I think it was last week, but I really put the real time into playing it this week, was the release of Cyberpunk 2077 for the gaming consoles and for the PC. And that has been a cluster, an absolute cluster of a game.
So I own the game as well. You know that.
Yep.
I haven't played it yet.
On PC, or did you get it on console?
Nah. How is it on your Xbox Series X, Chris? You're right.
Nope. I have it on PS4.
How is it on your PS5 then, Chris?
Sorry, Mark. I actually have a job, and I couldn't find the time to get away and go online.
You don't have a job.
I have the ultimate job, and I did not have the time or the resources like you did to get your hands on one. However, I do have the game for PS4.
A question?
No.
Okay. Did you do the creator of the character?
Yes, and I do have a normal-sized phallus, if that is your question. For those that don't know, in Cyberpunk 2077, it's got the most comprehensive character generation and modification system that I have ever seen. You can change the size and shape of your teeth, but one of the things that they do offer, whether you choose a male or a female character, is you can actually customize your genitalia. And so you have the option of having a small, normal-sized, or very large member if you are choosing a male character. And of course, being a humble man, I went with the normal-sized phallus because I didn't want to make the AI characters around me upset.
Okay, so time out here. I think normal size is a cop-out.
That's a cop-out.
You didn't commit to anything.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, so your son is a very nice fella, right?
Sure, I suppose.
So I know exactly what he would have picked in that game because he's flexing. So I probably would too. But anyway, so I'm glad you picked normal. Normal is, I'm sorry, Paul. That's why, yep. Sorry, Paul. I do apologize to all my friends. This is an amazing conversation, and I think I want to stop it right now.
I think they're having a fine time. I think that they are all having a fine time right now, and I wouldn't worry at all about what Kelly Whitner thinks.
They are having a better. I care about what Paul Stoppelworth thinks because he was my favorite tech of all time. He was amazing. He's the best. I don't even know right now. So let's talk about this Mandalorian shit.
So I'm assuming everybody here watches The Mandalorian, and if you do not, I don't know what you're doing with your time. But this was the season finale of season 2 of The Mandalorian, and it featured quite a few little, or big, if, as it were, normal size, Paul. Quite a few things that that happened in the show. But Mark, before we get too far into it, you did not like this episode. Why did you not like this episode?
Okay, so not liking is different than my feelings.
Okay, what are your feelings?
I don't even know right now. It's so sad. So I'm going to start with this, because this goes into what we expected from The Mandalorian and what we didn't get from The Mandalorian. Do you think Star Wars is better when the original trilogy, which we all love, we hold in high esteem, is not involved in any way? Do you think character building, the creativity, the actual do you think it's better when we just take those 3 movies, say they were an amazing trilogy of movies, we close the book and we move forward? What do you think?
No. I mean, if your question is, do we need to completely disregard those movies and act like that's in the past and we can't address those characters anymore and we can't come back to them or bring them into the... So what are you saying?
What I'm saying is, would this episode have been better? I don't know. Would this episode have been better if they left out the ending?
Now are we talking about the post-credit scene or the actual ending of the show?
No, the post-credit scene I'm all in for.
Okay, all right.
Because, so Boba Fett was not... He was a minor character in 2 movies. He stood around an Empire and he got swallowed by a Sarlacc in Return of the Jedi. Sure. I mean, he wasn't the most... I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
Well, we're going to spoil it anyway. So for those that don't know, and as a matter of fact, let me go in here real quick. I want to show something. So we were, there was some speculation as to what was going to happen in this show. Okay. In this final episode. I'm just
going to say it then. If you're just going to beat
around the bush. Hold on a second. No, hold on a second, because I want to figure out where this was here. Hold on a second. So I'm going to bring this up in just a moment. I actually have the show here.
Oh boy.
Yeah, here we go.
All right.
We're going to get a copyright here. Yeah, what is your problem with Luke Skywalker?
Okay. So
coming onto the show.
My problem isn't the destroying the dark, whatever the fuck. So my problem with Luke is they didn't need Luke. They could have moved the story forward with a different Jedi, had a way into season 3. And what the hell, that CGI of Luke, I think he looks like a paper cutout. It looks like a fucking 2D mask.
Sure. I'll give you that with the CGI.
And you know what? And I know I've read some of your Facebook posts, things like that, talking about TV, blah, 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 low budget. This was not a low budget episode. They could have done what they did in Ant-Man. Right. I mean, you saw the CGI in Ant-Man. I mean, that was...
Well, de-aging is different than what they did here. This is mapping. This is mapping onto somebody else's face.
But because at the end of the day... I understand that. I understand there was a person behind the mask there. But on the other hand, there was also a person behind the mask when you're talking about Ant-Man. I mean, there was somebody standing there walking around. Right. I mean, that wasn't any different.
There's a difference, though. I think the difference being is in how much money they can spend on going in and doing every nuance. And also, I would make the argument. So I think you saw one of the posts that I made on social media that talked.
I did.
Specifically about what we saw there. And the thing is that there's almost a precedent set in Star Wars. There's almost a specific look now that they have. So Grand Moff Tarkin in Rogue One
look better
maybe, but also Leia at the end of Rogue One, but we are talking a budget on a movie that's expected to make $1 billion. The Mandalorian is an episodic TV show. The directors that come in for these episodes are there for 1 30 to 45-minute episode.
Did you know who
they just don't? Yeah, I know exactly who the director is. The director is the guy from Ant-Man. Yeah, no, I know.
Bring it on. I mean, that's his favorite movie. His best movie of all time. Sure, is Bring It On. He's
not sitting behind a computer doing the CG work. They pay people to do that, and they only have so much time and so much budget to get these things done. A major motion picture has a 4-year lifespan from the time that they have concept to the time it hits the screen, and they don't have the same time and wherewithal to do this. Now, they do have time. So obviously they started filming this almost over a year ago. I think, if I remember correctly, they were on set in January of last year. So about a year.
So a 8-episode series, Mandalorian's budget was $100 million.
Right. So they had a budget that was a quarter of the budget of a single 2-hour movie to create 8 episodes.
I dare anybody in this chat to go watch Tron Legacy, Jeff Bridges in 2010, 10 years ago. Jeff Bridges looked better than this Luke did.
Yeah, but that's different though. They used de-aging for that. They didn't use de-aging for Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill wasn't going to take it. Mark Hamill wasn't going to remove his beard for this. The de-aging process works sometimes, and sometimes it does not work. The other problem you have with Mark Hamill is his face. He looks like a pumpkin now. His head's gotten enormous. You weren't going to map today's Mark Hamill and make him look 30 years younger. You could have made him look 10 years younger. You're not going to make him look 30 years younger.
Do you think
I have no problem with that.
Do you think Jeff Bridges and Michael Douglas look better than they did 30 years ago?
No, it also doesn't matter. So you're not the only person. No, but you're not the only person that's argued about how Luke Skywalker looked. At the end of the day, the purpose of this show is to tell a story. To get lost on the details, and the reality is that story that they told in that. Now, there's a lot of fan service there. I'll give you that. But that story and the story that they're telling in this television show as a whole is the best Star Wars has ever been. And I will argue that with anybody. Was it pandering to the fan base? Sure. Does that CGI have to be perfect? No. I don't know why we've gotten to the point. I mean, the reality is Dave Filoni, prior to The Mandalorian, has told the best stories that Star Wars has ever had. Between Rebels and Clone Wars, he fixed Star Wars until J.J. Abrams got his shitty hands on the movies and screwed them up. And a lot of that is Kathleen Kennedy, and that's fine. She's taking a back seat to Favreau, and now they're creating something amazing. And what he's doing is he's telling the storytelling that he usually tells in animation, where you can accomplish anything you want. I mean, Disney, the reason why you and I are friends, Walt Disney said many, many years ago, when asked why he did animation, it's because he doesn't have the technology to tell the stories he wants with live action. But we are almost there. You literally brought a character onto the screen, albeit not great CGI, I will give you that. But this is a character that is brought onto the screen in the moment of that show. So that would have been set 25 years ago or 28 years ago, whatever the case may be. And they brought him into that scene, and it was believable enough. I was bawling my eyes out when I saw Luke Skywalker, and I realized who it was, and like literally a 9-year-old version of me came to life inside of my body. And when I saw him pull that hood back, and that was Luke Skywalker, I lost my shit. I mean, it was absolutely amazing.
I agree with you, but my problem is Disney has the technology to make that CGI better.
I don't think so. I don't think it's been perfect anywhere yet.
Go back and watch Michael Douglas and Ant-Man.
That Michael Douglas scene back in the early days of S.H.I.E.L.D. was not perfect. I don't think that was perfect at all.
Ant-Man, Michael Douglas, that was the best they've ever done.
Yeah, no, I disagree. I don't think it wasn't that
perfect,
good.
But it was better than this. Now, that doesn't change the fact. Now, that doesn't change it. The fact that I think they could have gone a different direction. I don't think that was the right choice. And when you say The Mandalorian is the best Star Wars has ever been or has been since the original trilogy, I would agree with you until this episode.
Okay, so the other thing that I will tell you as far as why Luke, because I believe that Dave Filoni is being tasked with the same job he was given when he took over the Clone Wars cartoon. The job that he was given by Disney and by Lucasfilm and by George Lucas specifically was fix the prequels. Take this cartoon and fix the prequels. And that's what he did. And I believe that there somewhere in a board meeting was, hey, Dave in your silly cowboy hat, you fix the prequels. Now we need you to take The Mandalorian and fix the new movies. And that's what they're doing. The whole cloning thing that's going on right now with Baby Yoda or Grogu's with his blood, that is Snoke. Behind that glass, that DNA project that they're working on, that cloning experience and why they or experiment and why they have that cloning doctor there is they're creating Snoke, which ultimately is the test product that ends up bringing Palpatine back. They're writing the foundation of the story to explain why the New Order comes to power, and the reason why the New Order comes to power is actually coming down the pike when they bring General Thrawn in, or Grand Admiral Thrawn in.
The problem is they didn't get it right in the first place, and that was
but that's not Dave Filoni's fault. Dave Filoni's been tasked with fixing it, and I think he's going to do it. And I think the reason why it's Luke is because later they're going to tell a story as to why Grogu doesn't stay with Luke, and it's going to have something likely to do with limitations or blind focus or something to that effect, because we know that Luke is not successful in the path that he chooses. Ultimately, he fails. Ultimately, Ben Solo brings the whole thing crashing down. And what is the possibility that Grogu was there when Ben Solo wipes out the new Jedi Order 30 or 20, actually at this point now, 25 years from this point? So what is the possibility that he was there for that? The other question is, so they're looking for a point where they can fix the new movies and then continue the motion pictures on after the Daisy Ridley stuff, after the Rey and Ben Solo stuff. So they can tell a new series of stories set far in the future. So they're going to use these next, maybe 5 to 10 years, fixing the new movies by telling a series of great stories. We talked about it last week. They announced 10 new projects, all of them, with the exception of Kenobi, all of them wrapped around this period of time to explain what happened and how they got to the New Order. Dave Filoni's job right now and Jon Favreau's job right now is to fix the new movies. You have to include Luke. You have to tell a story of how Luke got there. Will they bring more Jedi in? Of course they will. But they're also telling Star Wars stories, not Jedi stories. They do want to put the Skywalker saga to bed, but they have to fix why Luke turned into a prick. They have to tell that story. It's the biggest problem with the new movies is why did Luke turn into a bitch?
You're right. Why did he get bitter?
Yeah,
you're right.
So they have to tell that story and bringing this beloved character Grogu, and he is unbelievably beloved character, and connecting him to Luke is the best thing they can do, because then you can tell the story of why his loss of Grogu was so important. And
how long until we see Grogu again?
I don't know. They made it a point. Oh, first of all, Dave Filoni has said in social media posts already, Grogu will be back. He's not gone. So then the question is, do they tell another Skywalker story? Is one of these shows going to tell the Luke story? I don't know how you move forward with any Jedi stuff without not including Luke, because with the exception of a couple of possibilities, he would be the most powerful Jedi in the galaxy at that point in time. He has all the texts. And they could very easily tell that story. There's a gap in time of about 10 years that we have no idea what Luke does at all.
So do you think, so let's go back to Luke Skywalker. So is in this, before the, in this era, is he the most powerful Jedi?
And where we're at right now with that show?
More than Anakin, more than anybody else that we see before the old guard.
You mean of all time? You mean of all time?
Yes.
I think probably
yes.
Maybe not at this. Well, maybe. No, maybe. Actually, you know what? I will say this. Okay, so in that episode, and it's just too hard for me to control all the things and show the episode right now at the same time.
Yeah,
but
it's all right.
So what happens is,
oh boy, where are you now?
For those that didn't watch it or did watch it, so you know what I'm talking about. There's a scene when he comes onto the ship, Luke comes onto the ship, and he's mowing through the Dark Troopers. And then at the very end of it, there's about 8 of them lined up in a hallway before you get to the bridge. And Luke comes up out of an elevator and just wipes them clean. And the very last one of them, he picks up with his force power and crushes the Darksaber. That is nearly a scene for scene match of what Darth Vader did at the very end of Rogue One when he
Yes.
walked into the kill box going onto the Corellian class ship that Leia was on. So you're seeing the same thing being done by Luke. So I think that's their way of saying to the audience, this is Luke as powerful as Darth Vader was at the beginning of A New Hope. So we are starting a new period of time with a Luke that is as powerful as Anakin was as Darth Vader.
Well, and you can combine that with the end of Return of the Jedi when Luke was more powerful than Darth Vader. I mean, there you go.
Well, I believe they were evenly matched, and he would not have beaten. I think that at that point they were evenly matched. But that was also a Darth Vader that had been around for 20 years. You know, he was old.
There.
Sure, but he was an old Darth Vader. So Luke is in his prime where they are right now in The Mandalorian. And now they have not announced any show with Luke. There's no indication that Luke is going to have his own show. There's no indication that they certainly couldn't do a series with the CGI that they just showed us mapping his face. You can't do that. You would have to recast him. There's a couple of decent actor choices out there that could play a Luke Skywalker in that time frame, but that would be a big leap. I think people would have a lot of pushback unless Mark Hamill came out and emphatically said that this guy or whoever it is has my vote to play me now. I just don't see them doing that. I think there's other ways of telling that story. Books, comic books. There's different ways of telling that piece of the story. What I do think, because right now there's one show or one property coming out that is still kind of shrouded in darkness, not a whole lot of information out, and that's the second to the last. Oh no, it is the last. The last Star Wars thing before their big movie that they're doing, and that is The Acolyte. So maybe The Acolyte is about Grogu. There is a possibility of that. And the other reasoning behind that is, where they're going to be at some point in time, unless something happens that we don't know in between, Grogu is going to meet Ben Solo at some point in time. And ultimately there's going to be some battle that takes place. And we don't know what happens with that. And we also don't know if Grogu escapes the Jedi Temple that Luke creates down the road, his Jedi Academy. Grogu might escape that too. There is no reason to think for a second that the future of Star Wars post Abrams movies may not be a Grogu that ends up ultimately being the most powerful Jedi in the galaxy after Rey, is there as well. And Rey could end up meeting him down the road, or I'm sure they'll never get Daisy Ridley back to Star Wars. That whole cast needs to stay away the hell completely away from Star Wars.
I tend to agree with you.
Yeah. So who knows what they're going to do with that? But I mean, to say that this episode was bad, no. Was it fan service? Sure, absolutely, and I'm perfectly okay with that because again, there was damage done to Luke Skywalker, and that damage needs to get fixed, and they're laying the groundwork of how to fix that damage right now.
I just wish they would have picked a different Jedi. That's all. Let's move this. Let's move it in a different direction. I mean, why do you have to keep bringing back the same characters?
Because I think they want to fix that. I think they have one overarching purpose, and that is to make Star Wars cool again, and then in the process fix what they did to Luke Skywalker.
Sometimes I have no problem. I think you're trying to hammer a square peg in a round hole, in my opinion. And I think at some point you just have to close the book. You have to move on. They had something that was extremely successful. It didn't involve anything other than Boba Fett, who was a bit player. Even you can agree with that. And they kept moving on. And I think this was a step back because of that. It wasn't anything. Mark, I was happy. I was smiling the whole time. I was very happy when that happened. I thought it was a great moment in Star Wars history, so to speak. But on the other hand, it's like I kind of wish they would have went in a different direction, because I think a different direction would have got us moving forward in this story. Not that we aren't going to, and this didn't just close a chapter in the book, and now we're going to start something brand new that's going to be amazing in season 3. And I think that is the case, and it will be. I still can't get over the fact they didn't use this moment to move it forward. That's all.
Yeah, but I think they did move it forward. And by the way, most of the comments in here are agreeing with me, not with you. And
they're wrong too.
the reality is that they had a purpose here, and we don't know what their purpose is. We don't. If you had told me that this is how season 2 was going to end last year, as season 1 was ending, there's no way I would have believed you. And
what if you thought the whole season would have gone this way? Nobody would have. This was amazing.
They did an amazing job, and you're upset about one moment.
I'm not upset about it. I just think it would have been better played a different way. That's all. Simple as that. I'm not upset. I think I smiled the whole time. It was a good episode.
To hear John Williams' Jedi theme playing with a smiling Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, you're right there.
And the other thing is, too, keep this in mind, there's another thing that's very important. So one of the biggest questions about Grogu, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but one of the biggest questions that is left to be answered is, how did he get out of Coruscant? Right?
Nobody knows yet.
Okay. So here's
a freaking baby. How the hell did he get out? You're right.
Here's my question for you. When Anakin Skywalker mowed through the Jedi Order at the temple at Coruscant, when it all came to when Order 66 started, who was with Anakin Skywalker when he was mowing through those Jedi children at the temple? Who or what?
Your favorite.
Who or what? It's actually a trivia question. I want to see if you can figure it out. Who else, not counting Palpatine, who else could have been, or what else could have been? I'm giving you the answer there. Could have been with Anakin as he was mowing through children at the Jedi Temple.
I've had too much whiskey.
Okay. R2-D2. R2-D2 was his astromech. He was with him everywhere he went. R2-D2 would have been with Anakin as he was mowing down children in Coruscant. And yet, when Luke was standing there saying, "Come here, little one," which, by the way, is a throwback to Ben Kenobi. "Come here, little one." And he said he doesn't want to go to you. And he stood there hiding behind the chair. And then Din Djarin sets him down.
Got some reassurance.
But he's standing there next to Din Djarin's leg. He does not move until what happens? Until R2-D2 comes into the room with Luke Skywalker. And then all of a sudden, after hearing the whistles of R2-D2, then Grogu turns around and walks right over to him. And then R2-D2 and Grogu have an exchange, an interaction in that moment. And that gets R2-D2 hopping. The question is, what did they say to each other? Because they obviously understood each other. And if they understood each other and had a conversation that made Grogu safe and made R2-D2 excited, then that tells me that R2-D2 knew Grogu at Coruscant. Which means probably, most likely R2-D2 had something to do with Grogu getting out of Coruscant. And if he was traveling with Anakin Skywalker, that means most likely Anakin Skywalker, even while mowing down the children, probably out of respect for Yoda, pulled Grogu out of that temple.
Or knowing how important or how powerful Grogu could be. Even if it meant moving him to the dark side.
Well, if that was the case, though, if that was the case, he would have brought him right to Palpatine. He didn't bring him to Palpatine. He put him into hiding. Grogu disappeared for 15 years, or actually, no, 25 years. For 25 years, he disappeared after Coruscant.
But on the other hand, if you're talking about the Sith Order, you're talking about an apprentice and a master. Maybe Anakin doesn't want to lose his place because he knows how powerful Grogu is.
Oh, I doubt that. Because, I mean, Palpatine had been... The whole idea is that the Skywalkers are the chosen ones. Grogu is not the chosen one. Skywalkers are the chosen ones. I think he, out of respect... Because at that point, Anakin hadn't gone full dark yet. He hadn't gone full dark until Padme was taken away from him. He hadn't gone full dark until Obi-Wan cut off his legs. He hadn't gone full dark until he fell into lava and got put into, the whole armor. So I got the best thing I could ask for.
What's that? I got you to pause and go, holy shit, he might be right.
I don't necessarily think that you are, but yeah,
maybe
sure.
you paused.
There's a possibility.
You just keep flowing.
I'm not gonna lie. What are our friends saying
about that? Huh?
What are our friends saying out there? See,
They're
Angela
saying
said the
I'm
same thing.
drunk,
It was like
you're not.
it was like R2 knew him. Becky also said R2D2 smuggled him out.
She also referenced Mulan because
Well, that's true too. Yeah,
Yep.
helping. Yeah, because Ming
The
what is it? Min
Emperor.
Na Wen.
Yep.
Min Na Wen was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I got my thumb on the heartbeat of Star Wars right now. I think I have a pretty good idea what's going on.
You've been wrong already, Cal.
Oh, I'm wrong all the time. Hey, listen, okay, for the record, in your defense of your criticism of the show,
that would have been a better answer.
I wanted Cal Kestis to be the one
my
that
God.
showed up.
So I am about four planets into that game.
Isn't that game awesome? Oh, it's so awesome. Good. It only gets better
sad
too.
I didn't play it already, and that's why I haven't even touched Cyberpunk yet. Even though I have an Xbox, I have a Series X, and I'm sure it looks amazing. But I would, if I were you,
I would wait until end of January, early February to pick up Cyberpunk because they're saying most likely third week of January or first week of February, somewhere in there, they're going to do a big patch to fix all the bugs.
They're already refunding it for people. I think this is a mess, and I don't think they're ever going to recover. I think it's already too late.
Sure.
They should have. But anyway, that's another show for another day.
Angela, you said in there, you kill all those children and you're not full dark. No, you're not. I have 2 children. I can tell you, I'm of the light side. You killed your
children?
No, I have not killed my children, but there are times that I want to. So just infanticide is not necessarily an indication of the dark side. Sometimes you just had enough of shit. That's all. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I've had enough shit already today. Just listen to you. Nonsense.
Okay. The other thing that I'm going to tell you is that I do not, for the life of me, believe that Boba Fett is a bit character. He played a crucial role in Empire Strikes Back. Yes, he was a punk in Return of the Jedi, and that's a shame. He was one of the main characters in the Star Wars Holiday Special, by the way, and also
that's amazing.
One of the first.
So was Chewbacca's wife. Come on,
yeah,
man.
that was but also he was one of the first action figures that Kenner put out that was not a screen character. So
he wasn't though.
What do you mean? The action figure?
Snaggletooth was.
He was but that character went nowhere. At least Boba Fett's still around.
So Fett, you know the whole story about Snaggletooth, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've watched the Toys That Made Us.
What is it then?
I don't want to get into it right now. But listen, Boba Fett is a fan favorite. He is an absolute fan favorite.
Agreed.
And
way better than Bosk or Dengar, who were in that room and on the Star Destroyer in Episode 5.
Yep.
Nobody cares about them anymore.
Nope. So I like everything they're doing. I know you have your disagreements with Luke being the MacGuffin of this episode, but it was a monumental moment. It brought tears to this 45-year-old man's eyes. It was also maybe the three margaritas that I already had that night and all that. But it was for me.
Can I say something? Moment.
Yeah, what's that?
So the original actor that played Boba Fett, Jeremy Bulloch, he died this week.
Yeah, it's a shame. Rest in peace.
So you know what? It sucks, but he wasn't even that old. I mean, he was 75?
72?
75. 75. He was 75.
Oh, was he really?
Looked it up. So he's still a young man in relative terms. So you know what? I think that makes us even more impactful that we're talking about him today. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think he's an incredible actor. He had played an iconic character, and it's a shame that he didn't get to live to see what that character ends up becoming because he's clearly the new.
It's going to be out in a year.
The new Hutt. Yeah, he's the new Hutt. By the way, who the hell is this Paul Stoppleworth guy again? His Jar Jar is bigger. When is he going to get his own series? I might actually ban Paul from our channel.
You might ban me too because I'm in for it.
For Jar Jar? What the heck? Really?
I want a Gungan series. Come on.
Oh my god.
Misa. Come on.
No, that would be the end of my time watching Star Wars if they did anything more with Jar Jar. That is the darkest that Star Wars has ever been for me.
What would you call that? What would you even name that series? Jar Jar in a car?
Yeah, dog shit. I think is probably the best thing you could possibly name it. At least that's what I would say.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Hey,
Yeah.
for the record, I finally agree with you for once.
Well, there we go.
Even though I agree with you most of the time and want to be contrary, it's okay. Somebody's got to be the foil here, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's not you. You're just the asshole. Oh,
Correct. Oh.
swear
While
words.
we're talking here, I'm going to bring the volume down so that we don't get in trouble, and I'm going to just watch. And